Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to my room. My name's Mikey, and it's time for another tutorial. Right, we are very zoomed in today on a sheet of paper, and we're going to be covering a very important aspect of your character design. How to draw a simple anime face, a female character, from 3 different angles. And the most common ones that are usually requested is going to be front, a little bit 3/4, like a little bit side on, and then profile, right on the side of the face. But more importantly, how to do it with basic shapes whilst making it look like the same character for the whole duration. So get yourselves a sheet of paper at home or your sketch pad, everybody. I'm using a super cheap mechanical HB pencil. This is a Papermate one. It's actually got quite a soft lead, so I might go as far to say that it's like a mechanical 2B, but you know, c'est la vie, who cares? Get your paper, start off by drawing a nice, fairly large circle right over to the left. We're going to draw these faces, hopefully so that they all line up. And you'll notice that I'm drawing my circle not with a single line, because you can't really draw a perfect circle, it's a nightmare, but with loads of small strokes of a pencil, almost treating it like a brush, just to get that shape. And once I've got that in, I'm not completing it at the bottom, although you can imagine it goes all the way around, I don't mind. And then split it in half. Get yourself a line that goes straight down the middle of this circle, and then somewhere between half to a third of the height of this circle, let's say just over a third, keep that line coming down a further distance. Brilliant. And that's going to be the overall height of our character's head. Then go straight over to the side of the circle, and we're not going to draw a line straight down, but we're going to curve in a bit, and we're going to just bring a line down like so, and we're going to do the same on the other side like so. A line that just curves in slightly towards the bottom. And then once we're around about this bottom area, I mean, all sorts of characters have different shapes and different designs to them, so don't worry too much. But I'm going to pick a good sort of gap about here to curve this line in, and do the same over here to make it a point for the character's chin. So there we have the rough basic shape of the head already, and this is what we're going to use as our starting point. Now I'm going to have a quick look through the camera phone, make sure, lovely, that is in focus. Shall we zoom ever so slightly more, my darlings? Yes, one tiny amount of zoom more, plus a bit of autofocus. Fantastic. Now we're going to do our bestest-ish. Well, we're going to try very hard, basically, to try to make all these characters line up. So I was going to draw a line sideways, but it probably wouldn't be even. So I've got 2 and a bit and a bit and a bit over here. So 2 and a bit and a bit and a bit-ish over here. I'm just going to use this as a very light guideline. Lovely. And then how tall is this head? Oh, almost perfectly 3 inches, ladies. Let's just get that down there, and we'll use this as a very light guide here. So hopefully everything's going to make sense for you lovely people at home. Now, with the front of the face, we've got the basic shapes in, but I'm going to dive in straight away and get the other shapes on as well, and then we'll go back across and pop in all of the features. So again, over here, I'm going to do a circle, but I'm going to make this one a little bit wider. This circle is going to be fatter because it's going to show some of the side, some of the back side of the head, and then curve round to be the front. So we go nice and wide with this one. Not crazy, but certainly wider. Much more of an ellipse. And then where this line still comes in, we're going to go about 1/4 of the way in of this circle, 1/4 of the distance, if that's the halfway point. And then I'm gonna, with this line here where the cheek is, drop this down here instead. That's going to be our jawline there. We know where the point of the jaw stops around about this level. And on this side, this kind of curve we've got going in is still going to be very similar. Comes in from about here, and then it's going to be halfway between these 2 points. So instead of the very middle of the circle being where the chin will be, the chin's going to be over to the right. So we'll have the jaw come down around about here, and also equally here. And on this side, I'm making the curve ever so slightly convex, I should say, or concaving it into the jawline, whereas this one curves round and out. This is like a fatter egg curve. This is a sharper inside edge curve. And although you don't really notice or use that much, it helps you get an idea of where the kind of cheek or jaw sort of lines up and comes in. So we've got a wide, weird version there. So on this side, we're going to jump in and get another one going as well. In this instance, again, we're going to go for a slightly wider circle, not as wide as this one, but we're going to have a very similar game plan going on. Now, whilst I'm drawing this circle in, it's probably worth mentioning, you guys might be thinking, surely Mikey has done a tutorial before about drawing an anime face from 3 different angles. And you know what? I bloody well have. Well remembered. But that wasn't like, you know, my finest ever video. It's a really important topic. So I was happy to make it. But the audio wasn't great. The lighting wasn't great. It was very difficult to see. And I didn't worry about it too much until I realised it was quite a popular video. So I thought, if everybody sees that and thinks that's my standard, when my standard is a little bit better, then it's going to make me really upset. I thought I'd better remake this and do it better for you guys at home. Right, side view everybody. We are going to split this straight down the middle. It's kind of fatter, wide circle, more like a dumpling potato shape. And then this point is going to be the jawline again. So we're going to let this jawline take up about half of this circle width. Probably a little bit less than half. So from here, I'm going to again make a line about to this height. And then where we've got the front of this circle, right down here where the front of the face is, I'm going to curve this in like so. But the side of a face is a nightmare thing to do for a female anime character. Everything's going to be on a bit of a slant and an angle. But we'll come back to that in just a minute. So everybody, let's double check, still in focus. Yes, it is. Thank you. Over on this side, I like to imagine a halfway line between the very top and very bottom of the chin. That's going to put us around about here, like so. And all the features of the character are going to happen underneath this point. So if we go and imagine a perfect halfway point from this line, so not the very outside edge, but around about in here, this is going to be the middle of the eye, and this will be the middle of this eye here, down in this zone. And we can keep the eyes in this zone where we've got the underside curve of the circle versus the halfway line. So this is where we're going to box it in. So just go straight ahead, you guys, and pop yourself like the hood of the eye somewhere around about here. And I'm going to give this a kind of slightly maybe moe character, but maybe give it a bit of an etchy edge. I don't know. But basically, create yourselves a nice curve up here, a bumpy curve like so. And then so that it doesn't go past the bottom of this circle arc, pop yourself in the pupils of this eyes. So it almost looks like I'm doing 2 straight lines, but I am actually doing my best to describe an ellipse, a curve like that. And then we'll do the same over here. Hopefully describing an elliptical shape again, because a lot of anime eyes, they're not perfectly circular like human eyes. They're a bit more up and down, or at least they become designed as such to kind of show that they tuck behind eyelashes and stuff. But we'll get onto that another day. Maybe a bit of outside edge of eyelash coming down here, and maybe just a line at the very bottom to indicate the bottom eyelashes as well. So there we've got some eyes on a character. Go a little bit above the eye line, and don't forget to kind of indicate sort of a hood of the eye where it tucks in, where the eye kind of goes underneath back into the head a bit. And then somewhere just above here we can float some fairly standard eyebrows. I will turn this all into a character at the end in the time-lapse part, just indicating what eyebrows would be. So now we've got the eyes in here. When it comes to the nose, I'm going to go below this eye line and just to the bottom of where this circle line is, and really just indicate it with a line for now, just so I know roughly where it should be. And then we can kind of give that more detail or less. For the moment, we're going to keep this a simple character. So that will do for the moment. And then this whole zone, you know, you've got all this space to express all sorts of emotions for mouth. But again, to keep it simple, we'll just give him a cheeky little smile. cheeky smile, something like that, somewhere around there. Now, if I just come down here and give this character at least a bit of a neck, like so, and maybe it's even going to have shoulders coming off like so, but not too importantly. And then here as well, I want you to imagine where the middle of the eyes are. This is where the ear meets in. So I'm going to create an oval shape that comes out ever so slightly and comes back in around about the level of the nose. And I'll do the same over here. I'm not going to worry about it too much because I'm probably going to have the ears of this character hidden by hair, but that's roughly where I put them in. So, lovely. Let's just slide this paper up a little bit. Nice. And let's crack on over to the side. I need to get myself some more lights, I think. Definitely. I need brighter videos. So, on this character, when we're going 3/4 on, now that we know the height of where everything's going to be, we can take this halfway line again, like so. And seeing as we've got the character facing this way a little bit, might as well get some bits on the back edge done straight away. Such as, let's get this ear out of the way. We know it's going to be here at the 1/4 in line where the jawline comes in. And it's going to be shaped basically like that. If you imagine a big circle and a little circle, and then just create like a smooth outline for them, that's basically how you get a really basic ear shape. The jawline comes down here, which is great, but we're going to use the back of this ear here, or the right at the bottom part, to indicate the back end of the neck. So if we come down to the neckline there, and then immediately bring this out to show the back edge of the back muscles and shoulder, basically you get a curve like this. The neckline on the front is just going to tuck straight down, something like that. And then you've got the other side of the shoulder, something like so. Basically, that's how the head will roughly sit on top of the neck. So, in terms of where we've got this real life halfway line for the circle, and then the halfway line for where the front of the face will be, it helps us, again, kind of assign where we're going to be popping in the eyes. Now, in this instance, I'm going to still use this imaginary zone here to help me understand that I'm keeping an eye about here, and again, just creating the same height as I have around about here. So if I have a kind of hood come up here for an eye, and then round about so, that will kind of do the trick. Get another big old eye ellipse on this character as such. And then on this side, similar again, I'm going to hood up, but because this half of the face is slightly diminished, slightly off to the distance, I'm going to make this eye a little bit thinner, if anything. So we'll hood up there, but then I'm going to do a really thin elliptical shape for the pupil in this instance. Lovely. And then I'm going to throw everything else that's forward on the face slightly to the right, slightly to the direction that the face is facing in. So instead of the hood of the eye being perfectly above here, I'm going to go slightly over to the right, pop the hood in there. And then on this side, it's going to go slightly over the right over here. And then the eyebrows as well, they're not going to be perfectly above. They're going to be somewhere up here and then somewhere further to the right over there, like so. Then where we've got the nose line in around about here, instead of in the middle, that's going over to the right as well. I'll indicate that with a line like so for now. And then the smile itself, again, that's going to fit in somewhere fine, just like so. So again, we've got a rough idea of where we're popping in all of the features. Again, just having a quick look through the camera phone. That's kind of fine. Let's do this difficult one over here. So again, let's get this ear in. We know it's right here because this is where the jaw meets the bottom of the circle and it's at the same level as everything else. There's our rough ear shape. And then for the neck, the back of the neck doesn't go straight up. It goes up and in at a bit of an angle. So if you imagine maybe a line around about here for the back of the neck, comes off and then becomes the back or the shoulders and so on. And then on this side, it's going to be maybe around about here as it goes off to the front of the character. Now, this circle shape, maybe I've made it a bit too thick. We can bring that in a bit. But remember, this character is going to have lots of hair that's probably going to end up being all over the place. Now, for the ear itself, again, I'm just going to put in a little bit of a simple shape here. The earlobe, I'm going to follow an inside line that goes from thick to thin all the way around here, and then thickens out the bottom of the earlobe here. So I called this the earlobe a minute ago. Maybe that's just the nubbin bit where some people get weird piercings. I have no idea. And then 1, 2 simple lines like that, just to get the rough kind of shape in that an ear's happening and there's some stuff going on. More importantly, how the hell do we get the features on for a profile face? Well, this is where things get a bit interesting. If we take the bottom edge of this circle and imagine this line out here, we know that our nose line is just a little bit lower than there. So I'm going to take a zone just a bit further out of the face and say this is where we're going to have our nose. And that is a really important thing to get this in at a nice angle, because it makes or breaks the image. So I'm going to imagine not the shape of the face, but I'm going to imagine another circle, just like this. I'm going to imagine that I'm drawing this edge of a circle. I'm going to draw it right here from the top edge of this part of the face where the circle has its rightmost point. And I'm going to draw this arc all the way down into it being a nose, like so. And then now that I've got this point here, I'm going to imagine a line almost goes straight down, like so. And it's just going to have a few bumps. We're going to map a bit of a bump out for the top of the lip here. Going to map a little bump here for the bottom of the lip. And we're going to go ever so slightly in before then going down to indicate the chin and so on. Now, the only way to get used to this and this shape is to look at lots of pictures and draw it lots and lots of times. I'm going to take the point a little bit off of this nose, just so that it smooths in the curve. Lovely. And with the eye level, the eyes aren't right on the front. They're tucked back in a bit. So again, if I get a hood around about here, I've made a much flatter version of the eye. It's going to come down like so. And the pupil is going to be super, super thin, facing out to the front. Something like this. The hood of the eye is going to be right over to the right of it, right forward. And then the eyebrows are going to be even further forward again, somewhere like so. And if we put a bit of a line in there, that will indicate the rest of this character's smile. So let's get rid of these annoying sample circles I've just drawn in there and have another check. Yeah, there we go. A really simple anime face. This is how we kind of match it in and get an idea of a character from the different angles. This curve here, as you go from the forehead in and then out again, it's a tough one, I won't lie. And then this kind of area here around the mouth, you've got to get used to these shapes. Just keep practicing. This jawline zone, we can smooth it out to create a more gentle female curve, because with female characters you can use gentler, smoother shapes instead of harsh angles. And then around about here we're going to modify this line a little bit so that this is a smooth curve up. It might go in a bit for the face before coming out and mostly going straight up and back, as opposed to the natural edge of this thick circle. And then on this side here, we've kind of got everything mapped. So I'm going to drop into some time lapse. Basically put a character on here. I'll take a moment to actually try to get quite a good character if I can. He says that it might turn out to be shit. And then I will see you guys right at the end. And there you have it, everybody. A simple female anime face from front, 3/4, and profile or side on view. I hope you found this tutorial to be useful as a basic placement for the features. We will be doing more in-depth face tutorials and all sorts of other tutorials in the future, because I am, as ever, reading your comments and suggestions, so many thanks. If there's a tutorial you guys want to see in future, get in the comments below. Let me know all about it. And if you found this in any way good, click on this little icon, a majigger down here with MIKEYMEGAMEGA on it, or just click subscribe in general, and I'll see you guys for the next episode round. Goodbye!